Hi friends, good morning. At the outset, I welcome you for this MSc second year class. And as you know, this semester I am dealing with the paper Computer Networks. So this particular course is named as CS302, and in this particular paper, I am dealing with a very important subject, which is very close to our heart and which is very close to all the societal applications. So this subject, as you know that today everything works on networking. People talk about social networking, and behind the social networking, what is important is the computer networks. And computer networks, since it started since 1970s, it has been constantly evolving in 1980s, 1990s, and then uh, technologists they have seen Y2K problem, and then there is a continuous improvement in the technology as far as the hardware of the network is concerned, the software of the network is concerned, the operating system is concerned, and then this all goes hand in hand. And today, whatever we see, the progress in technology is only because of the hard work which has been put in place by so many technocrats. And therefore, this is a very important subject. And in this particular subject, we'll be actually studying about the hardware, software, operating system concepts, the protocols, and so many things. To begin with, I thought it would be worthwhile to explain you about the in general regarding this particular course and regarding what is the basic philosophy in putting in place this course for you. And therefore, in this first lecture, I'll be dealing with the overview of the course and the course outcomes. As you know that we are basically in the learning outcome kind of framework, and in the learning outcome kind of framework, the most important thing is the learning outcomes. And therefore, today we talk about the program outcomes. So here I would like to tell you the difference between program and course. So when we say program, MSc Electronics is a program, and then the individual courses like computer networks, the control systems, the control theory, these are all actually courses, and this is one of the courses. Computer networks is one of the courses. At the outset, I would like to make it very clear that whatever resource material has been used in this particular presentation has been taken as copyright free material from various sources. And this particular material, wherever possible, I have acknowledged the source. Basically, this is a best practice because people put lot of efforts in coming out with resource material, and we should be very honest in acknowledging their efforts. And therefore, this the entire presentation, I'll be using many images, many resource materials, and I have make it a point to acknowledge all the sources. And this comes under the fair use clause of the Copyright Act. Uh, let's go ahead. Basically, I will be telling you about the philosophy of the presentation because all of us are new to this particular media, that is we are actually interacting in a video mode, online mode, and in this online mode many new terminologies will be actually coming through, and I'm reaching you out through my YouTube channel. So at the outset, I would like to request all of you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, so you will get automatically all the updates. All my lectures will be on my YouTube channel, and then I'll be configuring something called as Dropbox, so that after every lecture, I'll be giving you some assignments, and you can revert back with your assignments, the solved problems, whatever problems or case studies or design exercise I'll be giving. You can simply solve all those things in time, and then you can revert back to me through my Dropbox. So very soon on our WhatsApp group, I'll be sending you the link for the Dropbox. Now I'll be telling you all these videos. those will be uh, typically not very bulky videos because of two reasons. The first reason is when you record a video typically of 1 hour or 2 hours, then it becomes very difficult to store the video. Secondly, it becomes very difficult to send the video across the media. As you know, that all of you have problems of data packs and bandwidth, and therefore we'll be making the videos very small, very compact, so that those videos can be sent it across the channel in a very limited span of time. And the most important thing is the screen time. As you know, typically a lot of research is in place as far as the screen time of the readers is concerned, and this is typically attributed as goldfish attention span. You might have seen the goldfish in your house. So whenever this particular fish swims in the fish tank, it has a typical span of something like 8 seconds, 9 seconds, or 10 seconds. It can't remain stable. And so is the case for all the readers in online media. They can't stick to the particular screen time for a long period like 1 hour or 2 hours. It is typically something like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, not more than that. And therefore, this is the reason we'll be actually recording very small videos. And as far as possible, I have taken care so that I can give you some gamification kind of things, some videos, some simulation kind of things. And across this particular course, this computer networks will be actually trying to attempting to make this course as interactive as possible. So please cooperate with me to make this course as interactive as possible. I'm sure we can do this. So I appeal to all of you that whenever we study certain things and whenever we want to focus, the role model is Arjun's eye. You know the story about Arjun's eye. So the razor sharp focus is required, more important in this online media, so that you can have a kind of focus on your topic. As I already mentioned, this is a very important paper for all of you. And this particular paper, if you study well, there are a lot of opportunities as far as your career is concerned. There are many entrepreneurship opportunities as well, startup opportunities. I'll be discussing those things in due course of time. But typically, in one day, we get 60,000 thoughts in our mind, and therefore, just splitting those thoughts and focusing on one particular thought is very important. And therefore, I appeal to all of you that whenever you attend my classes, the thought should be only computer networking. As that's a very important thing I want to tell all of you. Another important kind of advice, recommendation I would like to give it to all of you is that a very important habit, that a notes taking habit. So whenever you attend a experience or a lecture, a meeting, actually you should spend as small as 30 seconds time to take notes, important points from the session. This helps you a lot. So actually, this particular habit, you can make a summary of the entire event, and you can make a note of it, and you can record it in your diary. And this compilation of notes will really help you during your examination time. As you know, in this COVID scenario, everything has been changed. The evaluation itself is changed. And in this change scenario, it's very important that we should have a focus. We should make it a point to take notes. And uh, whenever we attend certain lecture, there and there itself, we should actually take a summary of the lecture, so that it helps you a lot in your continuous improvement as far as your this academic session is concerned. So this is a very important piece of advice. I hope you will all follow this advice. Let us move further. So as I told you, the program outcomes are very important. You can see this particular image. The In this image, whatever is shown is a sort of infographics. So a student is somewhere at this particular point, and the student wants to move further in his career to some other point. So what's important is following the proper path with the proper direction. So whenever you want to go from your MSc first year to MSc second year, you have followed certain path and certain direction. Similarly, from MSc second year onwards, you will be entering in your corporate sector. In your career, you will be launching your career. It's very important that you should follow a certain path with certain direction and certain speed. So all these things are very, very important. So program outcomes and course outcomes. These two things are designed based on the mentors, like people like me. We have really thought over on all these issues, and along with other members of the faculty, the senior professors and board of studies members, we have come up with certain outcomes. So these outcomes, those are in terms of the knowledge, skills, and abilities that a learner should demonstrate after completion of the program. So you are now pursuing MSc in electronics. So after completion of MSc in electronics, what abilities you should possess? So those abilities have been documented as program outcomes. And therefore program outcomes, they play a very important role. And in the beginning of the program itself, you should know what are the program outcomes. So what abilities you will possess after completion of MSc electronics. So those abilities are really, really important, and those abilities we have actually put forth by the way of program outcomes document. And we'll be taking exams, evaluation based on these program outcomes, just to see to it that you all have possessed all these abilities after the teaching learning session is completed. So let me go through quickly the program outcomes. The first program outcome is something like domain specific knowledge. So domain specific knowledge is very important. Now, right now, electronics, we are dealing with MSc electronics, and in electronics, you should know the domain specific knowledge. So this includes something like the mathematics behind electronics, the science behind electronics, the technology behind electronics, and more important is one should have the ability of solving complex science and engineering problems. So you should be able to apply the knowledge, the domain specific knowledge, to solve the problems, complex problems in science and engineering. And this is a very important ability you should have. The second program objective is problem analysis. As you know, analysis of problem is very difficult. You know, Steve Jobs used to say that solutions are not important. What is important is problem is important. Once you understand the problem, then the solution will come very fast. So the analysis of problem is very important, and you should be able to do the identify the problem. You should be able to formulate the problem itself. You should be able to review the research literature, so that you will come to know that what the predecessors, the previous research groups have done, the previous technocrats have done, as far as your domain is concerned. And then you can analyze the complex science and engineering problems, so that you can reach the substantiated conclusions. Now here what's important is substantiated conclusions. So that means the conclusions which will be really kind of optimization, really kind of I'll be dealing with other things like sustainable development and other things. But here substantiated conclusions are very important, and those should be based on certain principles of mathematics, natural sciences, and engineering sciences. So this is very important. Try to understand that when we deal with computer networking, here the computer networking cannot be treated in isolation. It has a combination of certain principles of mathematics, certain principles of engineering, certain principles of natural sciences, and after all, we are applying all these things for societal issues. So here, the humanities is also important. So whenever we think about a certain discipline, we should think about this all these disciplines from multidimensional points, not like a single dimensional points. So that's very important. The third program outcome, which is envisaged in this particular curriculum, is design and development of solutions. And here the design the solutions for complex science engineering problems and design system components. So system components are very important, and these system components, the individual system components, will help you to formulate the solution for a particular problem. As you know that what are the important things here, those are public health is important, because all our solutions, you know that we talk about computer networks in, say, biomedical domain. So we just place the networking kind of equipment in pacemakers. So here the public health is very important, because first place the safety is very important. The cultural aspects are very important. So whatever technology we develop, that should be accepted culturally by all kind of humanities. Societal issues are very important. So whatever we are dealing with, it should be well accepted by society. And over and above, the environmental considerations are very important, because when we think about any solution of any problem, then we should think about the future generations. Environment is a kind of heritage that we want to keep for future generations, and so therefore all the solutions of the technological problems, the environmental considerations are important. So friends, these are the three outcomes, program outcomes, that I wanted to place before you. And whenever you think about any course in electronics, MSc Electronics, this particular three outcomes and more are there in next slides. So these are very important, and you should think about holistically as far as any course in electronics is concerned. So next few outcomes, the we call it as PO4. So here, conduct investigations of complex problems. So this MSc Electronics degree should help you in conducting the investigations of complex problems before you. So here you should be able to apply your research-based knowledge and research methods. So that includes design of experiments, analysis of interpretation of data, and synthesis of the information to provide valid conclusions. You know that this course has got a heavy laboratory component, and equally heavy is the project component, because we believe in project based learning, we believe in experiential learning, we believe in laboratory based learning. So hands on is very very important. When you will be dealing with this particular course, computer networking, there will be lot of assignments, lot of tools you'll be using, and you should be able to use all those tools for the networking scenario that is given to you. And therefore this will help you to build your knowledge base as far as investigation of complex problems is concerned. So say after passing MSc Electronics, if a problem is given to you to design a network for a particular company or a particular organization, you should be able to do this by using the tools that have been taught in this particular course. The another outcome, another important outcomes is the usage of modern tools. You know that today we are using this particular tool, video recording tool, and through this tool we are trying to reach you out. So similarly, in the course of this particular degree, MSc Electronics, you will be encountering many modern tools. And therefore, how do you create the tools? How do you select the tools? How do you apply appropriate techniques? How do you apply the resources? After all, this is all engineering, and engineering is all about applying the available resources and coming out with the best solution. And therefore, how do you do that? That's very important. And this involves prediction, that this involves modeling, this involves complex science and engineering activities. You know this, in this COVID-19 scenario, lot of simulation and modeling has been being done, so that one can predict that what will be the spread of this disease. So this is very important. The modeling is very important. The simulation is very important. The data analytics is very important. And all these are the critical components of computer networking. So whenever you think about computer networking, don't just think about the hardware and software, but you should also think about the data analytics part, the social networking, the artificial intelligence, even 3D printing, robotics. So this computer networking penetrates ubiquitously in all these domains, and that is actually the core of this subject. And the last outcome, which is very important, is ethics. So ethics is something like applying the ethical principles. So you should be honest, you should follow certain you should take up the responsibilities, you should follow the norms of engineering practice. So norms are the foremost norms is honesty. Honesty is very important. So whenever you are giving certain solutions to society, we should follow certain norms, and those norms should be based on honesty, should be based on ethical behavior, based on the engineering practices. So again, I repeat that in this particular course, we'll be giving certain assignments, and I'm sure that you will follow ethics and you will solve all those problems honestly. And those things are very important as far as the norms of the day is concerned. So this was all about the outcomes of the programs. So let's move further. That is the main essence of the outcome. You can see this particular quote. If you are not sure where you are going, you are liable to end up with someplace else. So suppose if you want to go to a certain place, suppose if you want to travel to Mumbai, and if you start in a reverse direction towards Bangalore, then you will never reach Mumbai. So therefore, as I already mentioned, what's important is the direction is important. Then the important thing is the speed is important, and you should always review whatever is the progress. The milestones are important. So the program specific outcomes. So they define all these milestones. They define like what kind of abilities you should possess. What previously we have seen, those are the program outcomes. So now we'll see what are the program specific outcomes. And these outcomes are very important if you want to reach out to a particular goal in your career. So these program specific outcomes, as far as the MSc Electronics program in general is concerned, and computer networking course in particular is concerned. So here you should have certain outcomes like, for example, you should know about the internet browsing practices. You should not know about how to design a wide area network. You should know about what is a router, what is a switch, that becomes the part of the hardware of the network. You should know about the media. So, for example, optical fiber has been heavily used, and the optical fiber cable has been laid all over the country. So here you should know what kind of media you have been using, so that the bandwidth of the data is very important, because whenever you deal with multimedia kind of packages, for example, the video which you are viewing is a multimedia kind of thing. So here the bandwidth is important. If you have sufficient bandwidth, if you have sufficient data pack, if you are using if you are in the range of the mobile tower in your area, you will be able to see the scenario in real time. So this is very important, and therefore this that is the essence why we are dealing with short videos rather than bulky videos like this. And this is the program specific outcome for this particular degree that you are pursuing, that is MSc Electronics. So first program specific outcomes is professional skills. So what are the professional skills? So in this particular MSc Electronics, you'll be dealing with something like communications. You have taken up a paper in digital communications, a paper in signal processing, digital signal processing, very large scale integration systems that you have been studying, because there will be a lot of papers in VHDL programming, embedded systems. So you have studied many microcontrollers like 8051, then PIC, then ARM, and maybe Cortex you'll be studying. So here, what's important is once you study all these fields, all these courses, then you should be able to apply the knowledge which has been gained through these courses, and you should be able to apply this knowledge to design complex systems. So that's the real rationale behind all these courses. And what's important, most important, is applying the things, because electronics is an applied oriented subject, and in this particular subject you should be able to apply whatever you gained the knowledge. So that's why I said that you should not treat these courses in isolation. For example, if you are dealing with VLSI, VLSI is not one course that is in isolation. That should be combined with embedded systems. That should be combined with communications. You should be able to know how to design a system on chip for networking applications. So that becomes a network on chip. How you can integrate the TCP/IP stack, the lighter version of TCP/IP stack, by using VLSI chips. So that again becomes a application of knowledge, and that involves multiple courses. You can say the knowledge from multiple courses to design the systems, and in this way you can solve the complicated problems. So that's really important. So let's go ahead now. So this is PSO1. The PSO2 is problem solving skills. So here, what we envisage is, you can see in the code, you can increase your problem solving skills by asking more questions. So question asking ability is very important. What we do typically is, in the classroom also, we don't prefer to ask many questions. Actually, asking questions is very important, because by asking a simple question, you can gain the vast experience of the speaker in front of you, because most of the professors those are teaching you, though they are having experience something like 20 years, 25 years. By asking a simple question, you are getting the benefit of their 20 years or 25 years of experience. So therefore problem solving skills, they really go in proportion with your skills of asking the questions. And these skills are very important, because in real life you will be encountering many complex problems in electronics, not only in electronics, in general. So here you can apply your hardware skills. Here you can apply your software skills. Nowadays, a new discipline is coming that is called as hardware software co-design. So those skills can be applied. And then most important is, how do you analyze the things? So that is, analytical skills are important. The logical skills are important, the reasoning is important, the linguistic skills are important, because most of the time we are dealing with the technical documentation, wherein the linguistic skills are really important, comprehension is important. So this PSO, that is program specific objective, is regarding the problem solving skills, how successfully you can solve the problem. So this PSO deals with this. The next one is, we want our students to be successful in career. And what we mean by this is, we want to create not only job seekers, but we want to create job providers. So we want that our most of our students, they should become entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is very important. And if you want to become entrepreneur, that is called as the connectivity from ideation to market. So whatever idea that you are devising, so how you can create market for that. So ideation to market, that is a complete journey for a startup or for an entrepreneur. So we want to teach you in such a way, so that you can gain the insights regarding entrepreneurship, or you should know what is innovation, what is creativity. And then nurturing this innovation and creativity will lead you to apply your knowledge in an assertive way. You can apply your leadership in a very assertive way for for the benefit of the society, so that you can come up with certain startups ideas. You can come up with certain innovative ideas. You can nurture those ideas by using your team, because you know, this today's world, what is important is teamwork is very important. Today we don't even talk about the IQ. More than IQ, what is important is emotional quotient is important, and more than that, what is important is team quotient is important. Today we talk about the social quotient, that is SQ. So IQ, EQ, TQ, SQ, all these kind of things. So they will help you for becoming a successful entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is very important, and today this particular course, that is MSc Electronics, will help you to, to start something like startup, or to nurture your innovative ideas, because a good laboratory is given to you, and you can successfully nurture your ideas in your labs along with your colleagues. So this will help you really in a big way. So, friends, I was dealing with all these POs and PSOs. Don't forget, once again, I'm repeating that you have to subscribe my YouTube channel, so that you'll get the rest of the lectures. And one important thing is you should also follow the Dropbox links so that you can submit your assignments after completion of this particular lecture. Because unless I know that you are getting my whatever I'm teaching and you are getting and grasping all those things, that I will come to know if you solve successfully all the assignments. So quickly, because it's about half an hour, quickly let me cover the course outcomes and curriculum. Now we are coming to our course, that is computer networking. So this particular course objectives, in this particular course of computer networking, we'll be learning about different transmission medias, different topologies, and different devices. So three important things. Transmission media is important because transmission media, they will carry your data. So there are media right from fiber optics, then there are telephone cables. uh, those are very useful, but they have limited bandwidth. And then UTP cables are there, STP cables are there. The most popular in LAN, local area network, that is Cat 7, Cat 6, Cat 5. So all these medias we can study in this paper, and we'll compare their bandwidth. And then topologies. Topologies is nothing but the arrangement of the network. So there are different topologies like ring, star, bus, then many topologies are there. Even there are hybrid topologies. So we'll be studying the scenario in which these topologies are being applied in the most practical ways in computer network. And then devices. Devices are nothing but the hardware devices, the components of the network, which are very important, like routers, switches, the servers, and then the clients. So all these devices on the network. So they play a critical role in functioning of the network. The second part, which is very important, critically important in computer networking, is the OSI model. So OSI model has been in place for such a long time, and it is open system interconnect kind of model in which there are different layers. So you can explain the functioning of any network by using OSI model. You can conceptualize any network by just looking at the OSI model. So OSI model is the basis of functioning of any network. So here we'll be studying the OSI model in details, the different layers of the OSI model, right from physical layer, network layer, data link layer, application layer, all these things. And then we'll come to know why this networking, why any network is divided into layers, so as to be very clear regarding the functioning of individual layers. And then the most practical model, because OSI is a theoretical model, the most practical model is the TCP/IP model, Transmission Control Protocol Internet Protocol model. So here we'll be studying about what are the different kinds of networks, how the addressing of the network is done, what is the subnet mask. So this is a very practical model, and we'll be dealing with TCP/IP model. And the most important thing which goes from TCP/IP model is the classes of IP addresses. So that we'll come to know what are the different classes of IP addresses, how many clients they can address by using the IP addresses, and how the IP addresses are designed so that the network traffic congestion can be addressed. So all such issues will be discussing. So this is about the course objectives. And as far as this course is concerned, computer networking will be whenever we are going through this course, we'll be always looking at all these objectives, and then even in the evaluation, uh, we'll look at these objectives, and we'll see to it that the objectives are attained during the evaluation process. What are the course outcomes? So the course outcome of this particular course, that is computer network, is that after completion of this course, you should be able to understand the basic concepts of computer networks. So, for example, computer network comes in various forms and various sizes. So, even your mobile, say, smartphone, is the best example of computer network. It is a part of the computer network. So, it comes in different forms. Today, you must have heard about the Bluetooth interface. You must have heard about the different interfaces. So all these are the part of computer networks. So we'll understand the basic concepts of computer network. The basic concept is very important. so that you can apply this concept to any kind of computer network that you have. The second thing is understanding the network software and network standardization. Friends, you will agree with me that unless standardization is done, there won't be any compatibility. So therefore, there is an organization called as IEEE, and IEEE standards are very important. So you must have heard about IEEE 802.11b. So that is the standard for wireless networks. So network standardization plays a important role in maintaining the compatibility between the networks. So network standardization, and along with that, what comes is the network software as well as hardware. But here the software plays a very important role. So network software and standardization, both the things, we'll be studying in depth in this particular course. And the third thing is understanding the role of networking devices. As I already mentioned to you, that devices they come in different forms. For example, hardware devices they come in the form of the servers, the clients, then the routers, they will route the traffic. Then the switches, important smart switches are very important, so that they can effectively filter the data and reach the data to desired destinations. So this is important. And then these devices play important role, and moreover the media through which the data is going through. So media is also important. The media decides the bandwidth and all other things. So all these things they encompass or they constitute a network. So all these things, the constituting the computer network, that will be studying in this particular course. Let me briefly take you very quickly, because the video is becoming bulky, through the course curriculum. So course curriculum is divided into 4 credits. So I hope by now you are well acquainted with the concept of credit. So one credit corresponds to 15 hours, 15 you can say teaching learning hours. So here the module number one here will be introducing you to introduction to computer networks. So how to define a computer network, because today computer network comes in different forms. Like whenever you might be knowing that today uh, technocrats they have come out with a smart toothbrush. So smart toothbrush which is controlled by using Bluetooth technology is an example of computer network. So therefore definition of computer network itself has gone through a lot of iterations, and lot of it has become completely, you can say it has become, there is a sea change in the definition of computer network since its inception. So the computer network, which is defined in 1970s or 1980s, is much different than the network today we are having. So therefore, definition of computer network basically itself is very important. And then comes components of a computer network. The hardware is important component, the software components, the operating system, and then the protocols. So all these components of a typical computer network will be dealing. And you'll agree with me that these components are very important. For example, software, if you take, or even operating system. Today we have right from Linux to the lighter version of Linux, which is there in the OSP, the smartphone projectors. Even the smartphones, they are having their own operating system like Android. So there are different flavors of technology as far as the hardware, software, all these things are concerned. Then the use of computer networks. So today the computer networks are almost they have penetrated in all the walks of societal life. So we'll be taking a stock of the applications of computer network. So network for companies are laid down differently. Network for people, they are different. And then comes the social issues. So societal applications, or the thinking in terms of societal applications is critically important. And unless you think in from the point of view of society, your applications won't be accepted by the society. So therefore social issues are important. Then how the networks are classified based on transmission technology, like the fiber optics based networks or the UTP based networks. Then based on their scale, like LAN, WAN, MAN. So okay, all these things we'll be studying. And then wireless networks, those are really doing a good job these days in all over the world. So this will be studying the basics of wireless networks. So this is all about the introduction of computer networks, which will give you a feel of computer networks in a wider manner, And then we'll be going in much depth with the module number two, wherein we'll be studying the network software and network standardization. So I already mentioned the importance of standardization. The compatibility aspects are very important, and those compatibility aspects are maintained by using protocols. Protocols are the actually rules and regulations of communication. So protocols are important. So we'll be studying different protocols. We'll be studying about OSI reference model in depth in this particular module. As I mentioned, the OSI is a very standard model, reference model, but it's a reference model. It's a theoretical model. And then from OSI, the evolution of OSI is towards the TCP/IP model, which is a much practical model. So we'll be studying about the OSI model, and here we'll be studying the different layers and the functioning of the layers, the hierarchy, why the hierarchy is there, how these layers they work with each other, so that a complete networking scenario can be constituted. So we'll be studying here, and then the TCP/IP will be studying, and then who's who in telecommunication world, like what is the role of IEEE, what is the role of something like NCST, National Center for Software Technology, what are the gateways for the networking, the national gateways. For example, you might have heard about the Sankhya Vahini. The Vahini, Sankhya Vahini is the main networking route from abroad. So all such things, the basically the networking scenario, how the networking is laid down as far as the entire globe is concerned. So as we go from land to the internet, how the networking actually it works with each other by maintaining the standardization and compatibility, by using a set rules of designing the software, hardware. So the details will be studied in this particular module. The module number three, here we'll be going in depth a bit about the physical layer and other layers also. So, but physical layer will be studying different topologies like the linear bus topology, ring topology, star topology. The most practical is the mesh topology or even the tree topology. And then we'll be comparing all these topologies. What are the considerations for choosing a topology? And then after getting the knowledge regarding the topology, we'll be studying about the switching techniques like circuit switching, message switching, packet switching. You know that this particular, whenever the data transmission takes place, the data transmission cannot happen in bulk. So the data is divided into a small chunks, and those small chunks are called as packets. So what is the size of the packet, and how the packet is transmitted over the media? What are the different multiplexing technique? Because there is the channel is limited, and multiplexing is the essence of choosing multiple sources on the same channel. So there are different techniques like the frequency division multiplexing, time division multiplexing, or wavelength division multiplexing. We'll be studying all these techniques in depth. And then in the module 4, we'll be practically studying the networking devices such as routers, then what are the actually ports, what are the cables, the hubs and switches, what are the managed hubs so that the bandwidth can be managed on managed switches, the bridges to maintain the compatibility between two segments of the network, then servers, routers, what are the advantages, these are the pros and cons of the devices. Gateways are very important so that the network, whenever the traffic is going out from the LAN, the gateway plays a very important role. Even the servers and proxy servers are important. So proxy server is a server for clients and client for another server. So proxy servers will be dealing with the routers, which is a combination of bridge and router. The wireless access points you will see everywhere nowadays. So all the details of these networking devices will be studying in module 4. In brief, after studying all these four modules, I'm sure you will gain an insight regarding the hardware of the network, software of the network, the protocols, and then in general how the network works. Like by taking an example of the OSI model, the most practical that is TCP/IP model, and with this it will help you really to design a network given the problem that these many clients are there, and this is the topology uh, of the region. And if you are told, if you are given a problem to design a network, with this you will be successfully able to design the network, and that is the main aim of this particular course. Apart from these reference books, which are listed at the end of the curriculum, I'll be giving you many short tutorials, the video tutorials. Many you need to go through many manuals. Manuals are very important because you know that this particular field is rapidly changing field, because it is something called as rapid rate of obsolescence of knowledge. So here the concepts they change very frequently. A new version of operating system comes, the entire thing gets changed. A new version of TCP/IP comes, the entire thing gets again changed as far as the hardware is concerned, software is concerned. So here you need to be always on the toes, and you need to refer the things very fast, and that's the real essence. And therefore, whenever for a networking professional, it's a career wherein it's a very really challenging career, and in this career, uh, it's a career which gives you a lot of good returns. But with that, you must be able to grasp the things at a rapid pace, and you should be able to refer the material very quickly, very fast. Okay, so that's my advice. That whenever a new book comes, whenever something like PC Quest magazine is there, so whenever a new flavor of Linux comes, you get a CD of Linux, Red Hat or something with the PC Quest magazine, and you should be able to get the CD, or you should be able to gone the days of CD. Even today, you can get the things downloaded from the internet, and you should always experiment the things on your laptops or even on your smartphones many times, and then you'll be able to get the real practical insight about networking. So, as I already told you, that I'll be giving you assignments, and assignment is the means through which I'll come to know whether you really get to know what I'm dealing with, or whatever I'm teaching. Therefore, this is the first assignment at the end of lecture number one, and the assignment is on a plain paper. Share the details of the software company, any software company, running on the theme of computer network. So today there are many startups. Actually, they use so innovative ideas from the field of computer networking. What you need to do is you need to Google the theme computer networking and startups, and you should list a one paragraph or two paragraph theme regarding the startup, which is basically based on computer networks, and get back to me through my Dropbox link. I'll be posting the Dropbox link on the WhatsApp group that we have formed, and through this I'll come to know whether you are attending my class, and you are really studying the things, you are understanding the things. And of course, I'll be always available through my email, through my other means. Even you can call me anytime if you get difficulties, if you want to adjust my pace, like you want to go me slow or to go me little faster. So please let me know, because face to face teaching is different, and teaching through electronic media is really different. So I need your feedback. So without your feedback, I won't be able to actually adjust my delivery model, and therefore I appeal to all of you to please get back to me, and please work on this assignment, and maybe another 2 to 3 days you can post me regarding your responses. As I told you, I'll be. This is one of the innovative idea, that you can find out such ideas. What I do is, I please note down this particular URL and enter this URL in your laptop, and you should have internet connectivity. Uh, I got fascinated with this idea because there is a quote that the teacher should be like the conductor in the orchestra, not the trainer in the circus. I hope I'm like a conductor in the orchestra. So there are many components, and those many components, if they are played in the proper manner, then you can come out with a good tune or good song. So this is an opportunity. There is something called as Google Experiments, and this particular app, you can say, application has been designed as a part of Google Experiments. So please click this and do some exercise with this, and you will come to know that how well you can play an orchestra. So how a orchestra or how a song can be simulated on the laptop itself. So please try this, and this is really interesting. And please get back to me with such an interesting themes on startup. So thank you very much. Today I'm ending my session with a note that once again a request that you should subscribe to my YouTube channel through which you are getting this video. You should solve the assignments and think innovatively. And please get back to me in case you get any kind of problems, any issues. So we'll be always with you all the time. Thank you very much.